Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. This morning we are honoring and recollecting the Buddha's enlightenment, which happened according to our tradition on this very day. This is the day of the full moon of the month of May, the day of the Buddha's birth, awakening, and his parinibbana at the end of his existence on this human level. So if we think of the Buddha's awakening, his enlightenment, for so many days, weeks, years, lifetimes, so many eons, the Buddha had a quest, a noble search. He was sensitive and conscientious and aware of the dukkha of the life of sentient beings in this world. And his quest was for the way, for the end of dukkha. So, as a reflection to begin our meditation this morning, I think it's very good to look within and to think of our own knowledge of dukkha. We know the suffering, what is unbalanced, out of order, wrong in ourselves, in our society, and in the world. And out of compassion, we have that sincere wish for the end of suffering. That sincere wish to let go of the causes of suffering, and for all sentient beings to be able to let go of the cause of suffering and to come out of that, to come to that state of peace, that state of bliss, which is Nibbana. A few minutes ago, a family came to offer our meal for today and the groceries for this week. With the one of the thoughts of dedication they had was regarding the economic crisis and the political crisis in Sri Lanka, and how upset and distressed the people are. And in giving this wish for sharing of merits, with the idea, let those people have the courage, patience, wisdom, and determination to be able to come through the difficulties that they face right now without falling into any unskillful thoughts, unskillful speech, or unskillful actions. Let them be protected from accumulating any bad karma, no matter what difficulties they face. And so you can see right here, in giving the thought of sharing merits, we are visualizing for ourselves the way out of dukkha, the way to the end of dukkha. We are seeing what would be our way forward if we cannot accumulate any negativity, any evil deeds or any harmful deeds, nothing harmful to ourselves or to another. This is the kind of preliminary contemplation to set our hearts in the right direction to have a good meditation this morning. So having given these ideas, let us come to sit together in meditation. So please come to an upright and balanced posture. Being aware of the physical body. Feeling the posture of the body, the weight of the body pressing on the seat or the cushion, the body within the surroundings. The body is located in the room where you are, resting on the floor or the chair within that space. Letting go of any concern about tomorrow or yesterday. Just aware of the present moment. The sensations that arise right now from touching, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or cognizing with the mind. Just aware of what is arising right now. Aware of the top of the head. And relaxing the top of the head. The sides of the head. Relaxing the sides of the head. Aware of the face. Relaxing the face. Aware of the shoulders. Relaxing the shoulders. Aware of the arms down to the hands. Relaxing. Aware of the front of the body. Relaxing. aware of the back of the body, relaxing the back. Aware of the seat, relaxing. Aware of the legs, relaxing. Aware of the feet, relaxing. The whole body at rest, settled on the cushion, settled into the meditation posture. The stillness and rest of the body. And the rise and fall of the breath may be clear, or the subtle energy of the body may be clear, a motion within stillness. Letting awareness stay connected with the rise and fall of the breath, or the arising of sensations, especially the touch sensations anywhere in the body. Just open awareness, not grasping anything, sensitive to the arising and cessation of all the sensations happening. Where's the mind? Staying with the immediate sensations as they arise, or returning to the sensation in the body and mind as they arise. And coming near the end of this meditation, aware of how it is, being present in full awareness for what is arising. And making a dedication. Whatever good comes from meditation, may it be for the end of dukkha, for myself and for all. There's a Vesak related a thought that's been in my mind this past week about the Buddha's compassion. There's a way in which the Buddha was fulfilling an archetype as the Bodhisattva, developing the perfection of giving and the other perfections. With this, there's this idea that the Bodhisattva was had the aspiration to become a Samma Sambuddha out of compassion for the world, to be the one who could rediscover the way to the end of dukkha, and who could convey it in a way that other beings would be able to understand and follow that path. And then there's another way in which some of the stories that you see about the Bodhisattva, especially in this lifetime, what you see in the sutta text, is that the Bodhisattva was on this quest that until he was awakened, he was seeking the way to the end of dukkha, but he did not yet know the result. It was after awakening that the compassion of the Buddha comes to the fore in teaching, explaining, presenting, laying out, explicating, pointing out, using skillful means to enable beings to realize what he had discovered, what he truly knew about the end of dukkha and the way to the end of dukkha. And truly that answer, if we look at it with fresh eyes, how surprising it is, the way that has been pointed out to us in the sutta this afternoon, which is called the Noble Search. He says that it occurred to him, this is when he was the Bodhisattva, it occurred to him, why should I, who am subject to birth, aging, and death, seek refuge in things which are also subject to birth, aging, and death? And then it gives the example of the different acquisitions that people may seek for their happiness, such as the wife and children, the slaves, the animals, the different kinds of wealth that a householder might accumulate. And those things are called upadhi, acquisitions. in this very simple metaphor. It's so easy. Anybody can understand it. Even a child can understand it. That you would like to find happiness with your family, your life partner, your parent or your child, those who are near and dear to you, the love that you have for your family is what the great majority of the world finds is the most meaningful thing in their whole life. That what brings meaning to life is to love those who are near to them, their own family. And that the Buddha points out, and we come to understand that everything is impermanent. Everything that arises must surely pass away. Everything that we think we can count on is going to change, is going to become otherwise. And so clinging to those things is the cause of disappointment, the cause of dukkha. And the same way, anything that we acquire that we have an identity with, like our reputation, our skills, our power, our material wealth, what we've accumulated for a lifetime, what we've organized to be there for our care and welfare during our old age. All of those things are all fundamentally unstable, fundamentally not reliable. And letting go of acquisitions is the way to happiness. So if we can let go of our spouse, let go of our child, let go of our money, let go of our house, let go of our reputation, let go of all of it. This actually is the way to true freedom. This Pali word upadi, which is translated as acquisitions, it's also related to upadana, which is clinging. So the acquisitions are the things that you are clinging to. And it's that clinging that is leading us onward to the cycle of rebirth. That to whatever extent the mind is in the groove, in the habit of grasping and clinging, in the habit of identification, in the habit of being traumatized by the instability of life, the inevitable changes of life, to that extent, not only are we suffering in the here and now, but we also are putting ourselves into a pattern where the suffering will go on and on. In the end, it's developed in not so much in this particular sutta about the noble search, but in the other suttas, that these acquisitions comes to refer to the 5 aggregates, what people identify with as being oneself, this body, my feelings, my perceptions, my intentions, and my knowing faculty, whereas and I cognize all these things as being aspect of the self, what I identify with, what seems to be the one continuity. So even though we can't rely on other people, we can't rely on money, we can't rely on physical things, at least we can think we can rely on our own true self. But even that is always changing, not to be relied on. So then it's said of the one who's the accomplished guru, the enlightened one, that he doesn't have any clinging in any direction whatsoever, so that whatever arises is just what's arising because of causes and conditions, and none of it is the cause of any disturbance, none of it is the cause of distress. So even as we face the instability of this external material world, even as we face the instability of our relationships with those who we love, even as we face the instability of our own body and mind. This week I've been in touch with a few people who are meeting the illnesses that come about close to the end of life, when one's capabilities and powers are strongly diminished. And having the mind which is trained to meet anything that happens with a sense of ease, a sense of openness, a sense of awareness, a sense of kindness. That is the mind which is gotten the lesson about the way to the end of suffering, that knows how to, what kind of attitude to cultivate, what to develop. So in order to practice, we encounter dukkha at the most profound level. We know how pervasive dukkha is in this world. And in order to be able to go through this path without just being traumatized and without falling into a state of mind which is simply lost in distress about dukkha, it's necessary, as I pointed out in the beginning, to have this faith, this confidence, because of the teaching of Lord Buddha, that we think there is a way to the end of dukkha, that we have this sincere aspiration, this sincere wish not to pick up anything which is causing the proliferation and the perpetuation of more dukkha. So I don't want to harm myself in any way, and I don't want to harm another in any way. I believe that if I take on this dedication to non-harming, that I can avoid adding many more fuel to the bonfire of dukkha, and I can let the level of suffering in my life or the suffering in the world can gradually be diminished by the power of my own intelligent and skillful intentions. And then that's kind of like part one. What I'm trying to get across today is compassion is based on skillfully having an intention which is looking to the other side, looking beyond the trauma and the suffering and the difficulty, looking towards the solution, looking towards the way out, and visualizing being able to cross over and to find the way out for oneself and for others. And then part two of what I'm suggesting for today's reflection is the Buddha's teaching, which is given in such a simple and memorable way, that I am subject to impermanence, I am subject to birth, old age, sickness, and death. I am constantly changing, And there's no need for me to try to solve the problem by taking refuge in something else, which is also constantly changing. So no need to find refuge in one's family, in any other person, in any material wealth, in any of the many ways that we build up our sense of material security in this world. All of those things are impermanent. They're all constantly changing. They're all falling apart. And so when we're at a moment in history, a moment in our culture, when we see in a very strong way, wow, it's really falling apart. What a mess. At least we're not distressed, surprised and distraught by seeing that we're in a moment that that this impermanence is much more up in our face than it is maybe at some other times. So this is my brief reflection, and I'm happy to take a few minutes to hear from anybody who has a question about this, or if you have a report that you can give about how this practice works for you in your own life. And I'm going to remove my spotlight and change the view so I can see you.